The Nikon Z90 ain't just a camera, it is a ghost story that photographers have been telling around campfires for years. For nearly a decade, professional wildlife and sports photographers have been holding onto their dusty Nikon D500s, waiting for a mirrorless miracle. They didn't want a vlogging camera. They didn't want a retro-styled toy. They wanted a powerhouse. Today, the internet is melting down because the wait might finally be over. The legendary Mini Z9 has allegedly leaked, and the specs are so aggressive they almost feel like a dare. We are talking about a 33-megapixel stacked sensor, 120 frames per second burst rates, and 6K video, all stuffed into a body that costs half of a flagship. This is the breakdown of the Nikon Z90, the camera that could officially crown Nikon as the king of the APS-C world. To understand why people are losing their minds over these leaks, you have to understand the legacy of the D500. It was the perfect professional tool. It had the autofocus of the flagship D5, but in a smaller, more affordable body. It gave wildlife shooters that extra 1.5 times crop factor reach without sacrificing build quality or speed. When Nikon moved to the Z-mount mirrorless system, they seemed to forget this audience. We got the Z50, the Z30, and the ZF-C. They are great cameras for travel or TikTok, but they aren't pro. They lack weather sealing, they have shallow buffers, and they don't have the stickiness and autofocus that a bird in flight demands. The Z90 leak claims to fix every single one of those complaints. It is being described as a true professional DX format body with the exact same DNA as the Z9. That is why everyone is calling it the Mini Z9. Let's look at the heart of this beast, the sensor. The leak suggests a brand new 33-megapixel stacked APS-C sensor. This is a massive deal. Most current APS-C cameras, like the Z50, sit around 20 megapixels. Moving to 33 megapixels gives you way more room to crop, which is vital when you are shooting a subject that is far away. But the word stacked is the real game changer. Stacked sensors have incredibly fast readout speeds. This means you get almost zero rolling shutter. If you are panning with a fast-moving car or a hawk, the vertical lines won't lean over like they are melting. It makes electronic shutters actually usable for professional work. This technology is usually reserved for $5,000 cameras. Putting it in a Z90 would be a massive power move by Nikon. The speed mentioned in these leaks is where things get truly insane. We are hearing reports of 120 frames per second burst shooting. Now, let's be realistic here. You probably won't get 33 megapixel RAW files at 120 FPS. That would break most memory cards. It is likely a JPEG only mode or a lower resolution crop. But even at 20 frames per second with full RAW and continuous autofocus, you are matching the performance of the $5,000-$500 Nikon Z9. This is the kind of speed where you don't just capture a moment, you capture the entire story. You get every single wing beat and every bead of sweat. When you pair that speed with the rumored autofocus system, things get scary for the competition. The leak claims the Z90 will inherit the Z9's AI-driven 3D tracking. This means the camera will instantly recognize and lock onto eyes, animals, birds, cars, and planes. If you can see it, the Z90 can probably track it. Video shooters aren't being left out either. The rumors point towards 6K at 60p internal recording with no crop. This is a bold claim because 6K processing creates a lot of heat. Most small cameras overheat after 10 minutes of 6K recording. But if Nikon has figured out the thermals, this could be a legitimate cinema tool. There are even whispers of RED-inspired features, like professional RAW video formats, being integrated into the firmware following Nikon's acquisition of the RED digital cinema company. This would turn a stills camera into a hybrid monster that can handle high-end commercial work. Now, let's talk about the build and the price. A pro camera needs to survive a rainstorm or a dusty trail. The Z90 is rumored to feature full weather sealing, dual card slots, and a much larger battery than the Z50. It's designed to be a workhorse. The estimated price is floating between $1,800 and $2,200. If Nikon hits that $1,800 mark, they are going to cause a serious problem for Sony and Fujifilm. The Sony a6700 is a great all-rounder, but it isn't a speed demon like this. The Fujifilm X-H2S is currently the king of fast APS-C cameras, but Nikon's autofocus and 33-megapixel resolution might just take that crown away. The Z90 would offer more reach for wildlife photographers and better durability for adventure shooters. Who is this camera actually for? It's for the person who needs the 1.5 times crop factor. If you put a 400mm lens on the Z90, it acts like a 600mm lens. That is a huge advantage for wildlife. It's for the sports photographer who needs 20 frames per second but doesn't want to carry a massive Z9 body all day. It's for the professional who needs a rugged backup to their full-frame kit. If you already own a Z50 or a ZFC, the Z90 is a completely different universe. It's like moving from a reliable sedan to a Formula One car. You are paying for the sensor tech, the buffer, and the reliability. The leaks suggest a late 2026 or early 2027 announcement, which fits perfectly with Nikon's usual release cycles. Many are asking if they should just buy a full-frame Z6 or Z7 instead. But those cameras don't offer the specialized speed of a stacked sensor at this price point. The Z90 is a specialist tool. It's for the shooter who values frame rate and reach over shallow depth of field. This is the Goldilocks camera, not too big, not too slow, but just right for the most demanding action. My honest opinion. If these specs are even 80% accurate, the Nikon Z90 will be the most important APS-C camera of the decade. It fills a massive hole in the market that has been empty since the D500 went out of production. While some might say $2,000 is a lot for a crop sensor, you have to remember that you are getting flagship performance in a smaller package. You aren't paying for the sensor size. You are paying for the speed and the intelligence of the processor. If you are a hobbyist, this might be overkill. But if your income depends on hitting focus on a moving target, the Z90 is the camera you have been dreaming about. Nikon isn't just making a new camera, they are reclaiming their territory. They are showing the world that APS-C isn't just for beginners, it's for professionals who know how to use the crop to their advantage. The hype is real, the specs are legendary, and if this drops in 2026, it will be the camera to beat. The competition should be very, very worried. If you like the video, subscribe, share the video, and hit the bell icon.